Straight up, guys, the first way to get traffic to your e-commerce store is to use product feeds. Essentially, product feeds will get more eyeballs on your offers, on your products, and put more money in your pocket. So you got to be making and using and submitting product feeds. So submit them to Google Shopping, eBay, Amazon, Bing, any big shopping search engine that you can think of. Make sure that your product feed is indexed and listed on there. But listen, it's going to take you between 24 and 72 hours to update your product feeds. So make sure that you plan ahead so you don't miss out on any potential revenue. Plan 24 to 72 hours ahead when you create and submit product feeds to those big search engines. So these will take the data from your website, from your e-commerce store, and display it across multiple channels. And that makes sure that you get targeted traffic that have buyer's intent. Buyer's intent is such an important and overlooked aspect of driving traffic, because there's no point driving traffic that isn't going to convert into buyers. So when we use product feeds, that solves that problem for you. So before I tell you more ways to drive targeted traffic to your e-commerce store so you can get more sales and build that strong, successful business that provides you and your family with the income that you deserve, let me tell you a very short story about one of my clients who came to me a few years ago. She was running an e-commerce store about shabby chic accessories. At the time, I didn't even know what shabby chic meant, but I figured, well, I'm an okay marketing consultant. I felt quite confident that I could help her, so I decided to dive in. But she didn't want to use ads. She'd been burnt in the past. She felt that advertising was a complete waste of time, a complete waste of money. So she was adamant she didn't want to do that. So beyond traditional SEO methods, I had to really figure out ways to drive traffic to her website. So I set about developing a marketing plan for her. Now, bearing in mind, when she came to me, she was on the verge of giving up. She was getting practically zero sales, and she felt like everything she was doing was just a waste of time and a waste of money. And I really emphasized with her because there's been times when I felt exactly the same. So I set about creating and developing a marketing plan that she could implement. And when she did that, and it's the same strategy that I'm giving you today, well, things started to change for her. She started getting sales. She started increasing her revenue. And now, today, she is selling all over the world. And now she's become a genuine boss babe. She's got people working for her. She's got a team of people. And yet, I've also convinced her to try advertising again. Now, hey, what do you think of paid advertising? Are you pro advertising? Are you against advertising? Do you think it's a waste of time? Has it worked for you? Tell me in the comments. Let me know what you think about paid advertising. So anyway, back to driving traffic to your e-commerce store. So this is what works, and I've also updated it so it works right now. So the next step that I want you to do is make use of XML sitemaps. This will organize all your pages, make it easy for search engines like Google to index them so they index all your products, and that will help you rank better. So when people search for products just like yours, they'll be able to find you. Now, if you're using big famous e-commerce platforms, for example, if you're using WordPress with WooCommerce, you can have these XML sitemaps automatically generated when you install the Yoast SEO plugin. If you don't want to use that plugin, there's another one that I recommend. It's called the Google Sitemap Generator. It's free to use. Go ahead, install that on your WooCommerce store. Shopify and other big e-commerce platforms have their own equivalent too. Next step is to create and send out press releases. Now, there is a misconception about press releases. We have to do it right. We have to have a strategic plan in place to make sure we get the best possible results. Because as you're no doubt aware, there are plenty of press release services out there, but we have to do it right. So we can't just throw money at the problem and hope it works out. What we have to do is be very strategic. So what I want you to do is look for journalists who are writing about your niche. So they're covering topics that are relevant to you. So we're not going in cold. We're not going to pitch to journalists just random ideas or doing what we call hope marketing. We take hope out of the equation, so we massively improve our results. So what I want you to do is have a look for journalists who are already writing about your niche, about your topic, about products that you promote and sell. These journalists are always looking for the next scoop. Look at what is already getting published, then look at your competitors who are using this strategy, then run their websites through link tools so you can see who's giving them coverage, so you can see which journalists are covering that specific topic. Because if they're writing about your competitors, there's a good chance they're going to want to write about you too. So contact those journalists, and also reach out to bloggers as well, because they can be very powerful too. But don't just send one email one time. What you have to do is follow up. So give it a few days and then follow up with a second email. Give it a few more days again and then follow up with a third email. And beyond that point, I think it's time to call it quits. But you will get most of your results in the follow-up. So what will happen is you will pitch your idea. Most people will ignore it first time around. Then when you send a second follow-up email, more people will engage, they'll respond to you. And then when you send that third email, more people will respond still. So it all happens in the follow-up. Now, similar to this strategy, what I want you to do is use Harrow. This is a website. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. It will allow you to network with journalists who are looking for stories like yours. These journalists want expert opinion. They want quotes to use, and they are actively asking the Harrow community to help out. So when you engage with these journalists and they quote you, they will credit you and your website as a source. So you will get free exposure and targeted traffic to your website. So that's harrow.com. Make use of that website. Next up is to promote on social media, but strategically. And this is all about using the right hashtags. So I know it's tempting for you to just dive in and use the most popular hashtags because you think that's going to give you the widest reach. It's going to give you the most exposure. That strategy is flawed. Don't do it. Instead, what I want you to do is focus on smaller, less popular hashtags. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but that's okay. Just go with it because you will see better results. When we drill down to the niche level, what happens is there's less competition. So that means we can get higher engagement on those hashtags instead of the ones that everyone is using, because then all those eyeballs, all that attention is diluted and it tends to gravitate towards a handful of big players. So you have to avoid those. Instead, look at niche, long tail hashtags. Use that as part of your marketing strategy and social media. You will get more engagement as a result. And then when you start building a following and get traction on social media that way, then start using the bigger hashtags. Now, I'm not saying completely avoid using those big popular hashtags. What I'm saying is don't allow those to be your core strategy. Of course, sprinkle them. Imagine them like spice that we put into a meal. So you don't want that to be the core of the meal. You just want these big popular hashtags sprinkled through. Next up is to set up branded social media accounts and pages. So what we have to do is remove the temptation to use our personal profiles. We don't want to do that because we want to build trust. We want to have branded social media accounts and pages and profiles because the more we have, the more credible we look. But remember, you don't own any of these social media platforms. So that's why it's really important to funnel that traffic into an asset that you own and control, such as an email list. So when you funnel people into an email list, that protects you. So should you fall foul of the terms of service of Facebook or whatever platform you're using, or they don't like what you're doing, now you're always protected. Remember that the audience and following you have on social media is not really yours. You really are building a house on someone else's land, and they can come along and knock it down anytime they like. Next up is to run an affiliate program. So you offer a healthy commission to people who endorse your product. So what happens is they will recommend their product to their audience. They will receive a commission on every sale they generate. This, in essence, really costs you nothing because you're building a team of virtual salespeople who do the marketing for you. And this works particularly well for digital products because we can offer a much higher commission rate. So if you offer a commission between 50 and 75%, that's very attractive to affiliate marketers, and they will go out of their way to promote your products. Now, I know the idea of giving away 50 to 75% of a sale might seem like a lot, but remember that sale never existed before they promoted your product. So you're not losing anything. You're gaining between 25 and 50% of the sale. And when you have affiliates promoting your products, you're going to get more targeted traffic to your offers and your products. So next up, create content often. This is such an underutilized aspect of marketing right now, but it is one of the most powerful. Think about articles, podcasts, videos. If you are creating educational or how-to content, you're going to do very well. Content that helps customers to solve part of a problem performs very well. It's engaging, it's what people want to consume, and it helps you to move them further along your funnel, which we'll speak about in a minute. Because we're going to create different types of content for each stage of the funnel. This is so powerful. It's going to help you to sell a lot more when you implement this strategy. So the next step is to build that funnel. And the funnel really breaks down into 3 core sections. We have top of funnel, which is cold traffic. Then we have middle of funnel, which is warm traffic. Then we have bottom of funnel, which is hot traffic. These are the people who are ready to buy. So we need to move people from being cold traffic, not knowing you, not knowing a thing about you or trusting you, down to the bottom of the funnel so they trust you enough to understand that you really are the best person to help them solve their problem, or you have the product that will help them to solve that problem. So, top of funnel content, that should highlight the problem. Sometimes it can even help make them realize that a problem exists. It should address the pain points. And we can typically do this in the form of a blog article. That tends to work really well. And then we can use that content to move them to the second stage of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, where we ask them to join our email list. We offer them a lead magnet, some free gift as an ethical bribe, and then they become warm traffic. And now we can start talking about the solutions, possible solutions that they might be interested in, the transformation that they will experience once they've purchased the product. And then we move them to the bottom of the funnel. This can be a VSL or a sales page, but it addresses their core desire, their burning desire to solve that problem, and then it promises them a very specific outcome. And when you have all of these pieces working perfectly together, then you will generate more sales. So we use that top of funnel content to bring in the traffic. We use middle of the funnel to warm them up, to build trust, and then bottom of the funnel to get the sale. Moving on from that, the next part of the strategy is to use retargeting. Okay, retargeting isn't free, but it is very cheap when we do it right. So what we can do is create campaigns for each stage of the funnel. So if someone opts into your email list, they might visit your sales page but not buy. Maybe they add to cart. What we can do is run a retargeting campaign to address only those people, only the people who went to purchase the item, put it in the shopping cart, but didn't buy. So what we can do is send a reminder across social media. We can say, hey, you forgot to buy this, you left it in the shopping cart, click here to complete your order. And we can follow up with emails too. So we can have a specific email sequence to communicate just to the people who are so interested in purchasing that they added to cart but didn't complete the process. Now, while these traffic methods are a really good start, I've actually got something better for you. If you want to get targeted traffic that buys your products faster than any of the methods here, I want you to go to profitcopilot.com/traffic, get that free guide. It's going to show you how to drive laser targeted traffic to your websites, to your e-commerce stores, anywhere for free. And if you found this useful, give it a thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel too, and hit that little notification bell so you never miss an update from me. And I will hopefully see you again in a couple of days' time. Take care.